Good morning. Now, I'm starting off this video with a little bit of action with this baby. Now this is a wet vac, and this is actually my old daily driver, Mark V Golf GTI. But this is now my girlfriend's car. So these front seats have needed a massive clean for ages, and I finally have the time to do it this morning. And it's a nice day because you really need to let the car sit in the sun with the windows down, doors open, because if you leave it sort of when it's cold, or shut the doors and just leave it, you'll get mold and the inside of the car will stink and they will never dry. So this actually does look really clean through the camera, but trust me, well, there you go, you can see that stain and how sort of dark this has gone. This color is usually really bright, so I gotta do these front seats, and then we're gonna head to a car meet on the other side of Melbourne. All you need is some really warm water, this stuff, which is extraction fluid, which is for this to spray on the seats, and a stiff bristled, or probably a soft one to not stuff your seats, but just to scrub out some of the crap. And then pretty much just go to town on this thing. And that is all done, no more stains, nice and clean, and it'll smell amazing after this as well. And just on the subject, I actually love this interior way more than the leather. Seriously, when my missus gets a new car, I'm taking this GTI back as my daily and get rid of the Ute, I reckon. Anyway, let's carry on with the rest of the video. We're going to jump in the EVO and head to this car meet. Like these VLs? Look at them all VLs. And one van. Yeah, there's the effort. I had one of them, like grey one, got smashed in the back. Oofed. R31 coupe. I spotted something. Yeah, probably. God damn, that's nice. That's nice. It's EVO 7. GTRs everywhere. So out of all the cars here, this is what you like. Babe, come here. Real sucker for a two-tone S13. Oh. $20B. Dig sawers, there's something about them. It's cool. Cage, see? Oof. Oof. Alright, it's too hot. Let's get out of here. One thing you need to learn about car meets is on the way out, you always need to do a lap through every single time you leave.
So we'll do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so last week did a recap on the VN, you know, where it started, what we've done, etc, etc. Thought I would do the same thing with the EVO, because again, a lot of new subscribers along the way. You know, people might not know I even have this car because I do very few videos on it. So before I bought the VN, I'm talking probably a month before I bought the VN, I actually invested in this. Now the whole plan with this car was to buy it, hold on to it for a bit, and sell it and buy something else, do the exact same thing over and over, and work my way to a 32 GTR. That was my ultimate plan. But the problem is, they are going up so quickly that I'll just be chasing my tail. Now to be honest, before I bought this car, I had zero interest in buying an EVO. It was not even on the cards. I went to look at a JZX 100 before this car, and I went to look at a two-tone S13. The S13 fell through, which was actually the car that I wanted in the first place. The JZX sort of just wasn't pushing my buttons. And then I came across this EVO 6. Now the only reason I spotted it in my scrolling through Marketplace, which I'll actually put the original ad here if I can find it, was the color, of course. Now I had thought about maybe an EVO 7 just because they were really cheap at the time, you know, in the high teens, early 20s. Now they're a $30,000+ car. But when this popped up and it was local and I organised to go see it, as soon as I saw the color of this car, when I walked into this guy's location where it was stored, I fell in love with it straight away. So I actually went and looked at this car twice just because I wasn't sure, and you know, I didn't really know much about EVOs, but I ended up buying it a lot less than it was advertised for actually, and it has proven to be a very good investment. And I haven't put massive amounts into it so far. I've just been doing cleanup stuff. Most expensive thing just being the wheels. I'll put some photos up here of actually the day I went to see it. I actually took it to my work and put up on the hoist just to make sure everything was okay, because this is actually the most expensive car I've ever bought by far. So I was a bit scared. Like, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was to me at the time, so yeah. Again, this spot, lots of cars driving past, and I hate it because I hate talking to the camera in front of people. I feel really embarrassed. So anyway, yeah, this is my 99 EVO 6. I'll do a rundown on what I have done to this car. Now, condition wise, it was pretty good, but I have done a lot to bring this color back up. It was a bit dull. It had standard wheels on it when I got it. So I'll start here inside, which is probably where I've done the most amount of things. One of the first things I did, now this, very common, because it's got like a netting over the blue material, this wears and it looks absolutely shocking, and this was no different. This seat was absolutely stuffed when I got this car. I was lucky to find someone selling a pair and managed to get him to split the pair and bought the single one. The steering wheel was also very stuffed, like literally falling apart, and this is the most, well, apart from the wheels, this is the most expensive part I bought for this car. From memory, that steering wheel was like $800. I was very lucky to find it because it had to be a one with a blue stitching, and it's got all the grain in it still, so it's absolutely perfect. Did a brand new gear knob, brand new gear boot. We've done all these brand new. I replaced one door trim and just cleaned in here immensely. One thing I really need to do is the carpet, as you can see. And I'm holding out to find a set of genuine mats. As you can see, this one's really torn from where your heel sits. I'm not liking my chances. I did bid on a brand new genuine set on Yahoo Japan at one point, but they went for over $1,000, and there's no way I'm paying $1,000 for mats. So I'll just hold out for a bit, give it maybe another 6 months. If I don't find anything, then there's a few companies that do aftermarket ones. But anyway, I also had to fix this seat panel, had a cigarette hole, so I got a genuine panel off another seat that a guy from New Zealand was actually very nice to send me. I love that it's still got the standard speaker grills in the back. Like, the interior in this is 100% stock, except for Greddy boost gauge and the head unit. Again, I would absolutely love the standard head unit. That's like my thing now, putting standard head units back in cars. But the last one I saw was $2.5 grand. And again, there's no way I'm paying that for a stock head unit. So I think that one's staying. It is good because it charges phone, you know, plays Bluetooth, etc, etc. So yeah, in here, really basic. Now outside, again, 100% stock. Color is a factory color. The only non-stock items on the outside of this car is this stupid thing. This like carbon add-on, and I can't take it off because it's actually, I don't know if they glued it on, but I tried to pull this back and you can see it's sort of damaged the paint. So maybe one day I'll just repaint the whole rear bar to get rid of it. And apart from that, this stupid aftermarket carbon fiber vent that fits like shit, as you can see, it comes up in the middle, it's sunken there, it really fits like crap. So I am on the hunt for a standard vent, and they're supposed to be the same color as the car. So when I get one of those, that will be, it does have factory weather shields, which is cool, genuine Mitsubishi. I did replace all of these inside and out as they were all perished. And that brings me to these. This is like my #1 killer on this car. Every time I see the car, this is what I look at. So these have all perished as well. You can see they're supposed to be rubber. They're hard as a rock. And I don't know if it'll come out in the camera, but they're all split and cracked and all that shit. But the bad thing is you can buy these new. In Australia though, they're like $800 for the pair. They are a lot cheaper buying genuine but overseas. But I'm really worried that I'm going to buy them and they're going to come snapped in half or something, because this is one piece all the way over down to the bottom of the windscreen. So shipping that and overseas is going to be a very difficult thing. But one day. I also want to replace this badge because, well, one, it's starting to come off and they're really hard to retape properly, and it's got all chips in it. It's really weird. It's like someone's tried to repaint it at some point. So I got to try and get one of them. Everywhere I know that sells genuine stuff, that badge is always out of stock in red. So it does have genuine T37s that I bought. I had to actually buy 2 separate pairs. I found one pair here in Australia that were already white, which is these rear pair. And I found another pair on Yahoo Japan that I bid on and won, and they were black. So I got them powder coated white, and they're the front ones. So they match perfect. These are a little, because these are on the front of a drift car, so they're a bit you know, so one day I'll probably get the rears redone as well so that they're like brand new. And it's got Nankang NS2Rs all around. They're actually a really good tyre. They do get a bit slippy when they're hot. I noticed in the hill they start to lose a bit of their grip, but anyway, for the money you pay for them, they're such a good budget tyre. So yeah, outside, apart from those 2 little carbon fiber bits, the outside is 100% stock. The kit, the wing, the big guards, all that stuff, all factory. Factory front mount intercooler. I did replace this badge as well with the bracket, as it was just glued on before, which was really weird. And it actually had one broken fog light. Now, another nightmare part that I had to try and find. One fog light, but I did manage to find one and paid a pretty penny for it. Now under here, again, very stock. The standard 4G63, still a 2 litre. I know it's had a set of lifters, which is very common in these. like a few years ago. I found an invoice for that in the car when I bought it, which was good. Factory turbo, I put a factory heat shield back on it. All I did was a aftermarket radiator as the one that was in it. The stock one was very, very close to popping the tanks, and I did not want to get stuck somewhere. Done this air box. It's got a metal intake on it. It's got a later EVO blow-off valve, which you can tell because it is metal and not plastic, and it's actually mounted the wrong way. So it's pretty much blocked, which gives you the good dose noises. Factory strut brace and stuff like that. I did replace this, so that's brand new, looks good. Another thing I'd like to replace is this, which just everything for these cars is so expensive. I reckon I've seen that for $1,000. It's two pieces, so this bit and the plastic bit. You know, one day, hopefully. Problem with this engine bay is, because it's a more modern car with, you know, a lot of pollution stuff and all that crap, it's really, really hard to clean it up. So unfortunately, this is about as good as I can get it at the moment. I would love to get rid of this yellow and blue battery at some point. Now it does have MCA coilovers, which when I went to look at this car, I was so happy about that, because they're like the go-to coilovers for EVOs. Very, very expensive, and super happy they were in it and I didn't have to buy them myself. Factory Brembos and stuff. Now the cool thing, apart from this being an amazing color, in the dark it looks blue, out in the sunshine it looks purple. So I actually have some build numbers here and I'll put it up on the screen. There was 7,700 EVO 6 GSRs made, and only 572 were made in this color. So it's the rarest of all the colors. There's only 5 colors, surprisingly, in this car. So it is a rare beast and hopefully a good investment for the future. I have zero plans to ever sell this car, so the whole money thing has gone out the window. I don't even care about what they're worth anymore, to be honest. It is good to watch the market and know that you've done a good thing with your purchase, but I love it that much. It drives so good, it's reliable, it's just perfect, it looks grouse. Like, everyone loves this car. Now they don't make super big power. You know, this, all it has is an exhaust. It has a dump and an exhaust and a pod filter. That is it. I'm gonna say it makes around the 160-70 kilowatt mark. Goes really good, real responsive. Does sort of die in the ass up top, which is understandable with standard turbo. And I'm torn. I don't know whether I want to modify this car just because it's so good as it is and reliable. Alright, no idea where I was up to, because a guy rode past on a bike and then turned around and came back, and it turns out he watches the videos. So thanks for coming, stopping to say hi, Ali, and I hope you keep watching the videos. So as I was saying, I'm not sure whether I want to do engine stuff to this car. The most common sort of thing is pretty much everyone does EVO 9 turbo cams E85, and they make 200 kilowatt, and it is like the perfect balance with these cars. So I'm not sure, I don't know. These gearboxes and diffs and transfer cases and stuff aren't that strong, so I'm kind of scared to put power in this car because the gearboxes are really expensive, these 5-speeds, so I'd be crying if I broke one. I'd love to do some track days, but again, I'm kind of scared to break stuff with this car, just because, one, it's so nice, and two, the shit's expensive. So yeah, I really need to do some wheel bearings on this car. That's actually another thing I need to do. They've been howling since I bought this car. It's the first thing I noticed when I drove it out for a test drive. In the front, I think both fronts are gone, and I really need to do a timing belt. This car doesn't have massive Ks on it, but who knows when the timing belt was done, so I'd really like to do that and do all the tensioners and stuff. It's just maintenance stuff, you know. You want to spend money on mods and cool things like that, but sometimes car needs maintenance shit that you don't even see, so it's a shame you got to spend money on that. But anyway, it's what you got to do. So it's starting to get dark, because I was speaking to Alex for, I reckon, like 20 minutes, half an hour. So I'm going to quickly do some nicer glamour shots here, and then we'll take the car for a drive and you can hear everything. Now I'll take you guys for a bit of a drive. It's super cold, it's a perfect weather for this. I've actually got another GoPro in the engine bay, so I'll try to get some nice turbo dosage noises for you guys.